If you're a woman over 40, over 50, going through perimenopause, and you're serious, and I mean serious, about not wearing this summer, this girdle, this high compression shapewear, as they call it now, something that's gonna make you be sweating even more than you already are, sweating from the rooter to the tutor, as they call it in the South. If you're serious about not wearing this summer underneath every single garment that you have, then this video is just for you. Hey there, I'm Belinda J. And no, I really don't hate shapewear. I just hate the high compression one. So this summer, I am not going to be wearing the high compression, but I will probably still wear some shapewear in order to, give you that, smooth look. But so without further ado, let me show you the 10 of the easy food swaps that you can make, especially if you're living in a household with other people who are not on this same belly fat journey that you are, because you can cook the exact same things for everybody in the house, but you have to prepare yours just a little bit different. So let me show you what I do. So the very first thing on the list that I swapped out, especially when I found out that I was gluten intolerant, was all things bread. Now, I still do eat some, quote, regular types of bread here and there, but for the most part, I have made these swaps. The first swap that I made, because I love eating tuna tacos, regular tacos, anything that I can put in a wrap that's really quick and easy, I love to eat it. But with me being gluten intolerant, I can no longer eat the flour tortillas. So instead of having one of these at 140 calories and 3 grams of protein, I swapped this out for the Egg Life wraps. Now, these come in a wide variety of flavors, especially in my grocery store. Each wrap is only 30 calories for 5 grams of protein. So I could literally eat 5 tacos for every 1 taco that I could eat in a flour tortilla. So that's definitely a good swap. Another bread alternative that I made, and I know it looks kind of crazy, but it's just sitting in the refrigerator. I'm going to eat a burger with it coming up here for lunch. This is the viral cottage cheese flatbread recipe that you can make. But one thing that I know about the cottage cheese recipe is it doesn't really taste like bread. And since I'm missing bread, what I did with mine is I just added a tablespoon of this chickpea flour inside of the recipe. The recipe is really simple. It's really just, I think, a cup of cottage cheese, 2 eggs, your seasonings. You whip it up and bake it. So what I do is I add a tablespoon of this chickpea flour, which is another high protein source, in that recipe in order for it to give sort of like a bready look and feel. You can see it here. It's a little bit thicker than your regular cottage cheese flatbread recipe. So that is number 1 on the list. Those are my bread swaps to lose that belly fat by summertime. So the second swap that I made is kind of on the same bread train, is eating pancakes, waffles. I know some of you, including myself, you love a good chicken and waffle, and you think that, well, I can't eat chicken and waffle and still lose my belly. Well, I'm here to say, yes, you can. So this is just your regular brand of, what is this? Light and fluffy buttermilk complete pancake waffle mix at 4 grams of protein. And instead of getting this, they do have protein, and I forget the brand, but you can get it in Aldi, anywhere else. You can actually buy a pre-mixed protein pancake mix. But what I like to do, because once again, I'm gluten intolerant, is I will make my own pancake mix by having this gluten free flour. And then I will add in a scoop of protein powder of my choice. Now, if you do decide to make your own, then you have to treat it like the old school, meaning that you have your flour, your protein powder, you add an egg, maybe a little baking powder, your milk or Greek yogurt as your liquid base. So you have to kind of play around with your recipes in order to figure out which one is going to work for you. But this is my second food swap that I eat. And because, honey, I love some chicken and waffles too. That's number 2. Speaking of making your own homemade waffle mix or pancake mix, and we're talking about adding in milk, next up is milk. That's number 3 on the list of swaps that I made. So normally I would eat or have this almond unsweetened vanilla milk. That's what I kind of, have been drinking for a number of years until I stumbled upon the Fairlife milk. So with the Fairlife milk, it definitely is lactose free and contains 9 essential nutrients. So when we compare it with the almond milk, now for every cup, this is going to be 30 calories and 1 gram of protein, whereas the Fairlife is 80 calories a cup and 13 grams of protein. So as you can see, I'm not really making anything different. Like, for example, if I'm making a protein shake, instead of using this milk, I'm just using this milk, which is going to give me more protein, which if you watch my last video, I gave you the 5 things that I would do if I had to lose my belly fat again. And if you missed it, I'll post it right here. But just simple ways to add more protein into your diet is definitely going to help you get rid of that belly fat by summertime. So that's number 3. On to number 4. Number 4 on my food swap list is pasta. So I switched out the regular penne pasta for a chickpea penne pasta. And with the regular pasta, it's about 42 grams of carbs, 200 calories, 7 grams of protein. And with the chickpea, for about the same servings, you're going to get 180 calories, 33 grams of carbs, and 12 grams of protein. I really don't focus that much on how much carbs something has. I focus on hitting my protein numbers first. This is an absolute great swap for pasta, so you're not feeling like that you're giving anything up. I think they make this in a linguine as well. Oh, there's another pasta swap that I make. Let me grab that and show you. I think I have some. Here we go. So another swap that I make for pasta, which is even better as far as calories go, if you're really big on calories and not so much protein, then you'll love this Hearts of Palm angel hair pasta, which is also gluten-free. I will usually take this and mix it in with some zucchini noodles. Now, as far as the calories, it's only 20 calories a serving and only 1 gram of 1 gram of protein. So what I would do if I'm going to eat this and I want to add more protein is I may kind of lightly boil it or saute it in a bone broth, and I'll have this swap coming up in just a minute. So here are just a couple of swaps that I make whenever it comes to eating pasta. That's number 4. Number 5 on my swap list is going to be the type of broth that I use. Now, I still use or cook with all of these things that I'm swapping out because there's others that live in the household that, like I said, that are not on a fat loss journey like me. So I am cooking the exact same meal. I'm just preparing mine in a different way. So moving on, number 5, the broth. Of course, everybody keeps a staple chicken broth in their fridge. If you wanted to boil rice or whatever it is that you need chicken broth for, this is just the standard. It has 0 protein for every 1 cup. But what I've swapped it out, like for whenever I'm boiling my chickpea noodles or anything else like rice that I'm making just for myself, then I will use this bone broth protein powder. Now, you can buy bone broth in the grocery store. You may be able to find the powders. I'm not really sure. I haven't found any bone broth powders in the stores. I get this from Amazon, but in comparison to 0 grams of protein, This has 15 grams of protein. So if you're thinking about making the pasta, like if I'm eating the chickpea pasta, which has 12 grams of protein per serving, and I boil it in a scoop of this, that's already 27 grams of protein, and I haven't even added the meatballs yet. So this is my number 5 swap, taking chicken broth and swapping it for the bone broth powder. Okay, we've reached our midpoint. So drop me a comment below and let me know if you think that the food swaps are doable. I think that they're very realistic. And hey, for me, they've been able to help me get my belly down. And that was my goal. I'm not really focused on a size anymore, a weight anymore. I'm always going to be a large on the top and a medium on the bottom. Honey, I just didn't want all of that extra blubber hanging around my middle. And I think these food swaps will help you as well. So let me know what you think in the comments. And now on to number 6. The number 6th swap, not really sure what happened to the video, but we're going to be able to get through it this way. So I swapped out my favorite coffee creamer of all time, the International Delight French Vanilla. I swapped that out for a heavy whipping cream with either a little bit of vanilla extract, or if I have a 0 calorie, 0 sugar vanilla syrup, I'll pair it with the whipping cream for that. Whenever you're looking at whipping creams, you want to make sure that you get one that's pretty clean, that just has cream and maybe a gum that helps it prevent it from clotting. Another coffee creamer alternative that I often use, especially when I'm traveling, is if I have a protein shake, then I'll add that to my coffee. And it already has, a particular flavor or less sugars, but it's definitely a great alternative. You also, too, want to look for one that's pretty clean. This is one that I get from Walmart or other grocery stores that only has about 5 or 6 ingredients. So both of these are great coffee creamer alternatives. So now on to number 7. Okay, don't nobody want no bland chicken. So what's up next, number 7? Barbecue sauces. So I switched from this Sweet Baby Ray's original that has 17 grams of sugar, and I switched it out for this no sugar added barbecue sauce. Now, I am looking for progress, not perfection. And I know some people may say you should cut out all of your condiments. Honey, I'm 55, so I'm not going to cut everything out completely. I've lived long enough and earned the right to have a little barbecue sauce on my chicken. So this was number 7, switching from original to no sugar. On to number 8. So you're craving a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Well, this is swap number 8. I swapped out the regular peanut butter for a peanut butter powder. Now, when we compare these side by side, 2 tablespoons is the recommended serving. The regular peanut butter that's already stirred and mixed is about 7 grams of protein, whereas the peanut butter powder is 6 grams of protein. So those match up very well. Where you're going to get your savings is going to be in the calories. Now, whenever you're trying to lose belly fat, you should be in somewhat of a calorie deficit, not necessarily a very restrictive calorie deficit, maybe a calorie deficit of a 200 to 300 calorie savings per day. And you can definitely get that whenever you're comparing these 2 peanut butters. The regular peanut butter is 180 calories for 2 tablespoons compared to only 50 calories for 2 tablespoons of the peanut butter powder. Now, this peanut butter powder is so versatile. I use it whenever I'm making mug cakes or any type of cookies or putting it in my protein shakes. And if I wanted to make peanut butter, I would just add maybe a tablespoon of water or maybe some coconut oil or maybe even a little bit of yogurt in order to get that creamy consistency. So this is swap number 8 that definitely saves me some calories. Peanut butter. On to number 9. Okay, the 9th swap is going to be the battle of the Greek yogurts. Now, we know that Greek yogurt is definitely filled with protein, but here is where the problem comes in sometimes, is in the flavored yogurts, there's a lot more added sugar than in the plain yogurt. In the plain yogurt, we have 17 grams of protein and no added sugars, whereas in the yogurt, Greek yogurt that has the strawberry, has 13 grams of protein and 12 grams of added sugar. So when I made this swap, this plain is definitely more versatile because you can use the plain Greek yogurt as a swap for sour cream, or you can use it in your salad dressings, or you can use it to make protein bagels. But if you're going to use it and eat it like a parfait, then just add your own little fruit and your own little walnuts, and then, save yourself a little bit of sugar. But this is my night swap. Okay, this 10th food swap that I made is a very unlikely swap. Like before, you kind of seen yogurt to yogurt or barbecue sauce to barbecue sauce. But this one is going to be another bread swap, which is an artisan flatbread swap for a can of chicken. So in this house, we do make pizzas, at least once or twice a month. We don't really order out pizzas because the reviews up here is so bad, so we will make our own. But I will, instead of eating the flatbread, I may decide to make a chicken crust pizza. So when you look at the numbers of this, it's basically 1/4 of this single flatbread is 160 calories with 4 grams of protein. So if you eat the whole thing, which sometimes I do, that's going to be 16 grams of protein, but it's going to be a lot of calories and a lot of carbs. It's almost like, what is that? 2, 4, 6, 8, almost like 700-800 calories and 100 grams of carbs. But hey, sometimes I'm just keeping it real. I'll still eat this if I want convenience. But normally what I like to do is to swap out having this as my pizza crust to swapping it out for a can of chicken. Now there's plenty of chicken pizza crust recipes on the internet. I'll make a video of how I make mine. But here you can have the same size crust for like 120 calories for the entire crust. And then you're going to end up with 26 grams of protein just from the chicken alone in the crust, not even including your cheeses that you may add if you throw in a little bit of pepperoni and so forth. But hey, this is a very unlikely swap, but it will definitely save you a lot of calories and a lot of carbs, which, like we said, is going to get this belly down. Well, there you have it. My 10 easy food swaps is going to help you to stay out of this and be fine by summertime. So if you found this video to be helpful or informative, then definitely consider subscribing or drop me a comment below. I'd love to hear what you thought of my food swap. So until next time, get up, get going, and get there.